All right. Good morning, everyone. Interwebs, podcast listeners, those of you tuning in live or in syndication. And welcome to another episode of How I Met Your Mortgage. I'm Adam Smith with Just the Tips Coaching. With me, as always, is one of our other coaches and our marketing director, Jen Waybar. Good morning, Jen.
Good morning.
And our guest today is actually a repeat guest. We don't get a whole lot of this, so it's kind of a special treat for those of you watching, listening, and certainly for us. Sean Savitt. Good morning, Sean.
Good morning. How you doing, everybody?
And Sean, you're staked out on your porch there. It's a really nice day here in the Denver metro area, huh?
Yeah, it's about 80 degrees, so we can't complain.
Ooh, that's a little warm for early in the morning. I guess it's not that early in the morning. But yeah, very cool. So, Sean, you've been on the show before, so we've got a pretty good handle on some of the things that we've all come to know about you and your business and how you practice and what your lead generation looks like, etc. But I'm willing to bet that some things have changed with you since we had you on the show last time. There's kind of been this pandemic thing I've heard about going on. That might have had an impact on real estate, perhaps. Certainly on lead generation, face-to-face meetings, those kinds of things. How have you and your mini-me been managing all of this? Have you had to do some homeschooling? What's gone on with you this year?
Yeah, so I have a 1.5-year-old, so homeschooling is not really in the picture.
Good.
But I do, he's here with me during the day, during the week, and so there's a little bit of juggling between home life and work.
Sure.
It's been a bit of a roller coaster. I would say the last, what are we at, about 4 months now, something like that.
Getting close.
Yeah.
It's more responsive. Watching what's happening, staying on top of it, and then I almost say, I choose to respond, not react. I say we got to take a look at what we have and then take that information and respond the best that we can. Yeah, that's kind of what it's been like.
Okay. So give us some specifics. I know we talked about your lead generation and what those tactics and activities look like. What have you been doing differently in the last, I can't believe it's been almost 4 months. But let's talk about that stuff first, just because obviously interesting tactics and techniques are kind of what our audience loves to hear about. What have you been doing differently in that arena since this all came crashing down?
And I think that kind of happened in phases. There was the initial, we didn't know how long this was going to last. I was fortunate to have a listing go live right when this started. And I say fortunate because those first couple of weeks we had this kind of surge. I think there was a fear of lending dropping out or rates going up. So buyers it wasn't what I expected, but there was quite a bit of activity right away. And so we got under contract. We have offers in 24 hours. And so that was really nice. So I had that, but then, every day there was a phone call of I'm furloughed. Hey, we're going to wait a little bit. I will say the activity I've had from then till now hasn't been people choosing to move. It's more people who really have to move depending on their situations. And a lot of that is coming from referrals where people are asking, hey, I have to move. And with everything going on, I need a realtor. And so I've been fortunate enough to be getting those. I will say for about, 6 weeks or so in the beginning here, there was not much going on. I wasn't showing many houses, and I'm really not the type of person to just sit around. So I started a little side business. I started a lawn care aeration company. It was perfect timing for spring. I had an aerator. And I went out, I set up an automated platform online so people could book online. I used a lot of the network I was already using, past clients, Facebook groups. Hey guys, I got this aeration company. I'd be happy to come out and take care of you. The same great service. But I had a motivation behind it. So every time we aerated a house, I had door tags that we would put up on the door, and the front said, we appreciate you supporting our business. Thanks for having us out. Your service was completed at, and we'd write in a time, in a little, Castle Rock strong or Denver strong, or put a hashtag on there, make it a little more personable. But the backside of it was all our real estate information. So it was a way that I can get out, do something. The gyms were closed, so I joined the crew and did a couple myself. I just couldn't sit around. And we've gotten some business from it. I got to talk to the homeowners. People were just sitting at home. And it was like, what can I do? And I got to tell you, I didn't know at the time how it was going to work. But we did about 300 houses in 6 weeks. And just think of all the opportunities I had to talk to all these people, get our name out there. And I can look back now and be like, wow, I'm so happy I did that.
Sean,
That's awesome.
It's awesome. This is
That's
brilliant. Awesome. I am absolutely stunned. So we obviously talk a lot about side gigs in real estate, in lending, with an awful lot of our client base, no question. Not necessarily just our client base, but it's chatter. If you go into real estate related Facebook groups or mortgage groups, everybody's doing real estate investing. There's chatter about cryptocurrency. Obviously, we all talk about the stock market. How are we all making money in addition to our mortgage practice, our real estate practice, those kinds of things, our coaching practice, etc. And you've killed like 30 birds with one stone here. You've created this platform. You've used it to generate additional real estate leads. You've staved off boredom. You've gotten outside during the springtime. You're providing a really valuable service. I still haven't had my yard aerated, which is an enormous mistake on my part. But yeah, this is absolutely phenomenal stuff. This is one of the coolest things we've heard on the show in a long time. Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I would say it was a temporary thing, but it was so successful, and it took so little time just because of how automated it was set up, using Facebook Business and all that type of stuff. I'm going to do it again in fall and probably just keep it going, which was not my intention, but it certainly didn't take away from my real estate practice at all, which is always my sole focus and concern. And it was very beneficial. A lot of past clients were reaching out saying, hey, can you come get my house? So it gives me a chance to talk to them and stuff. So it was pretty cool.
It is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is really, really cool. I'm so impressed. This is just fantastic stuff. I hope our audience is picking up what you're putting down when it comes to this.
And the whole thing wasn't like... what can I sit and do? Or I should say that's exactly what it was. I was standing in my garage like, I'm bored. What can I do? Can I mow lawns? Can I, and I didn't really want to do that, but it wasn't really about how can I make some money right now. It was more, how do I get in front of people? And I literally took a list of essential businesses and I went down the list and I'm like, what of these can I do with what I have? And I think that's always the question in real estate is how can we take what we have and make the best of it? And so to some, this was an opportunity. I will say since then, so that lasted about 6 weeks and then I shut it down. I honestly got really busy with real estate. I didn't see it coming, but I ended up walking away from that with 3 listings and 6 buyers. And that's what I'm working on right now. I got 3 under contract and I'm out all day long showing houses. And so I didn't see that happening and I certainly didn't expect the market to be so busy right now. But it's strong and it's doing well.
It is strong and it is doing well. Yeah, it's funny because the timing of that lull in the real estate business, and obviously, as you said, nobody had any grip of what was going to go on in the financial markets, that it was going to tank and look like it does now. I saw a 30-year fixed loan at 2.5% in my mortgage practice last week.
Oh, man. Insane. I saw 2.99. I thought that was quality, but 2.5.
I refinanced my own at 2.75. But yeah, I saw 2.5 last week. That blew my mind. That'll be the lowest we've ever closed on a property in a 20-year history.
After you consolidate credit cards into that and eliminate some debt while you refi?
It was a purchase, but yeah, we do have a lot of clients doing that. Absolutely. No question. Although, just, in the interest of full disclosure, cash out loans do carry higher risk, higher rates than purchases or rate and term refinances, etc. But so none of us knew that was going to be the case, that we were going to see this huge influx of certainly refinance business. The lull in the purchase business seemed to be about 10 minutes, and I'm obviously, saying that tongue in cheek. But in that 10-minute window, you came up with this brilliant idea. And of course, now the real estate market is hopping again. We're having an even shorter inventory, a greater supply and demand issue than we had, which was already robust. So let me ask you this. If you continue this project into the fall, how conflicting with you being so busy in real estate do you think it's going to be? I mean, it just kind of seems like we're on a couple of week delay here. We had a couple of weeks where real estate kind of flattened out. The Colorado governor wasn't sure whether or not real estate would be essential, whether or not the ancillary businesses like inspections and appraisals would be essential. So we lived through that couple of week period. Same period in which you came up with this project. I would be willing to bet that the real estate business is pretty busy in the fall.
Yeah, for me, just year over year, it's been busy through November, and then it really slows down.
Yeah,
so
right up to the holidays.
Yeah, and so it's going to overlap a little bit. I think I was fortunate enough that I was able to use this time to work out the kinks, get a system that was smooth and virtually hands-free. It gave me the opportunity to hire some local people out of work. Most of them were dads that just, were out, needed money, didn't want to depend on unemployment or couldn't get it. And so that was awesome. And so going into fall, that's really what I'm going to be looking for, is just people in my own community that are struggling but are hard workers and have a good work ethic. And I think that's one of those silver linings that makes me feel good about it. And so in the fall, that's what I'll get to do, is just kind of say, hey, who's looking for a little extra work, that likes to get out and meet people. And really that was all I had to do. As far as the hands-on part was actually do the aerations, which, I lost 15 pounds, so I'm happy.
Wow. Boy, yeah, I've had to bust my hump on the treadmill this year to make that happen.
You can borrow the aerator and run it around your yard for a week. You'll do all right.
Yeah, the good news is my yard is tiny. It's less than 2,000 square feet of grass. It's perfect. So I lied. You actually killed about 40 birds with one stone instead of 30, because now we're talking about how you're able to also provide this service to the community of putting people to work, getting them paid, so on and so forth. And I know Jen is going to want to back up a little bit and talk about the fact that during this particular period, you also invested some time in now both of these businesses to help with your systems, to put things in place that are going to put you ahead of the game if we return to normal, or when we return to normal, whatever that looks like, that you actually used some of this time so wisely instead of watching Tiger King. Is that what it was called?
Don't get me wrong, I watched that too.
What was that show?
I was going to say, Tiger King. You didn't miss out on Tiger King.
Didn't miss that one.
Okay.
All right.
Good.
But the point being that obviously a lot of real estate agents, mortgage originators, a lot of them that probably won't remain in the business through the course of the year, aren't doing the things that we've been asking everybody to do, that we've been telling people to do, that you organically did, and work on tools and systems and processes in your businesses to make sure that when you are back up at full speed, that full speed is a faster speed than it was before this hit.
Yeah, and it really is an investment, and I think it's something that up until this point I've been going around saying, I wish I had more time to sit and refine my systems. I would go through, I use a transaction coordinator, and we have email templates, and I would notice over time, boy, that's not exactly applicable anymore. We need to change that. But who has time, to get on all those things? So I had this list that has just been building. And I think anything that happens in life, really, if you choose to see it as an opportunity, it's going to be an opportunity. So I saw it and I was like, when's the next time I'm going to have time like this? And so I sat down and we cleaned up those emails. My TC and I just kind of sat and went through everything we do and said, what's our process look like right now, and how can we clean this up and make it more effective? And there was no better time to do it because honestly, there's been no time to do it.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And that's a big struggle. And we're struggling with that on our mortgage side as well. We are implementing more tech. We are looking for more help. We are working on systems. The problem with it, of course, is that the result of this pandemic, certainly from an economic standpoint, has been this enormous influx in business. And I'm not complaining about that. It's good to be busy. But, with everybody working 50, 60 hours a week because we're trying to squeeze out as much time as we can to improve systems, workflow, technology, those kinds of things. It's something you guys, those of you watching and listening, those of you that are in real estate, those of you that are in mortgages, car sales, financial planning, insurance agents, whatever, you've got to make the time to streamline these things, to improve your workflow, to improve your systems, because that is what's going to enable you to accommodate that growth, accommodate that increase in business without feeling like you're drowning.
And remember that effort's exponential. So once you do it, that actually creates the time in the future so you could do it going forward. But you got to get that foundation set up, and that's the hardest part to invest in time-wise. But once it is set up, that gives you the liberty to stay on top of it.
That's also true. Yeah. That's right. It frees up enough time to do both, increase your business, and to continuously improve those systems. Yeah, that is absolutely true. That's really well said, Sean. Thank you. All right, so what do you see in the next 6 months? What's the rest of the year going to look like? I mean, obviously, we know you're going to aerate some more lawns in the fall. I will absolutely get on your system or call you and have you come all the way down here to the burbs to do that. But, yeah, what do you think the real estate mold, the model, looks like for the next 6 months? And let's not, ignore some very key pieces of this puzzle. While 2020 has certainly been a shit show on a global level, and I don't even know what else we've dealt with other than, Kobe dying and Australian fires and the corona pandemic and
murder hornets.
Murder hornets. Thank you, Jen. That's a good one. We still have a full-blown election cycle to get through, which is chaos all on its own in a normal year. So,
I'm not ready to get there yet.
Oh man. So taking all of this into account, what do you think your real estate practice looks like? What advice would you give to everybody that's, now on your heels, just trying to keep up? What do you think, what'll be different for you in the next 6 months? What other things are you going to implement? Are you going to pay attributes to, these kinds of things?
Well, I'm going to start by saying staying fluid. And I think that's important because I have to say I'm a little scared to answer that question because 30 days ago, I thought I had a pretty good idea of what was going to happen with the inventory. I'm looking at it like everyone who's going to list right now is still going to list now, or, the majority of them. I was thinking everyone who was wanting to sell in March and April would be selling now, at least the ones that still need to. The people who were furloughed, who can't pay it back, who need to sell their house just to stay afloat, I thought they'd be selling now. To me, you take those three channels and you say, boy, our inventory is about to change drastically and take us from a seller's market to a buyer's market with a pretty quick change. I have not seen that inventory come yet. I don't know if it's not going to come. I don't know if it's going to come over time.
Over time, a decade maybe, but I don't think we've experienced anything yet that's going to trump the supply and demand issue. We just have a housing shortage.
Yeah, and it's worse. I think, I can't remember the numbers. It was like 10% of a balanced market, and it sure feels like 10% of that right now. And I don't know how that's probably not accurate at all, but that's certainly what it feels like.
So, and I don't know the specifics. It's been a while since I looked, but, just knowing what I know from the activity, the last time I saw, well, let me back up just for our audience. A healthy real estate market is defined by a 6-month inventory. I don't care if it's Mobile, Alabama, or Anchorage, Alaska. For our market, where Sean and I are, the 7 counties that make up the Denver metro area, we would literally need something close to 30,000 listings to have a 6-month inventory. And best guess right now, we've got about 8,000.
Yeah.
So
that might be generous.
That might be generous. And we've lived through summers where we've had 4,000 or 5,000 recently. So we're not unfamiliar with this inventory shortage, but yeah, I don't see us getting back to a balanced or a buyer's market for a long time. And I would assume, and maybe we can get some of our audience to chime in here, that this is true of pretty much every urban corridor. San Francisco, New York, Atlanta, Miami, whatever the case may be, I would assume that there's healthy inventory in rural areas, maybe Des Moines, Iowa. But it seems to me, thank you, Corinne, making some comments. Corinne says we're all awesome, and she's right, we are. But yeah, I cannot imagine how we can solve this shortage in any short order.
It's going to come with confidence. As homeowners get more confident in the market and they start seeing results, things will start moving. That inventory will start coming back, and I think we'll be okay. And honestly, looking at sales prices, the sale to list and those ratios and stuff like that, at least in this market, I think, especially like I've got a listing right across from my house here. And once I can't really release the number because we're still under contract. However, once the neighbors see that number, I have a feeling a few more people are going to be moving.
Yeah. So for those of you that are homeowners listening, watching, and you're contemplating selling your home, yeah, it's still a seller's market. Without equivocation, you are going to get top dollar for your home today, better than it would have been 3 months ago, a year ago, 3 years ago, whatever the case may be. The supply and demand issue is still driving the value of your home up, I promise you.
And I will say I'm seeing some kind of like other little trickle down effects. So like because of economically kind of how people are positioned right now, things like buying furniture isn't really something they want to do. So I've done 2 deals in the last, 3 weeks that both houses we were able to get fully furnished, or at least close to fully furnished. And there was a personal property agreement attached to it, so it wasn't free furniture. However, think of how much easier that is for people, where you don't have to go out to the big stores, start looking for furniture, spending that out-of-pocket money. And sellers have been very open to it.
Yeah, well, I don't know. If I'm a seller, I don't have to have a mover in my house or multiple movers. That's a big deal. If I'm the buyer, I don't have to go to the furniture store. I don't have to have delivery people in my home. I don't have to go to the rental place to get a vehicle. Yeah, I get it. I mean, I didn't see it before you said it.
I didn't see it coming, but 2 of them in a row that it just kind of blew my mind. It was almost whole houses full of furniture.
That's insane.
Awesome.
I never would have seen that coming.
No. How could none of us would. But it is fantastic, no question. Wow, that is really surprising to me. So yeah, tons of great tips and ideas coming out of this right now. You should be ecstatic with where you're at, what you've put together during the course of this year, during the course of the pandemic. My only hope is that our audience is really picking up some of these nuggets that you're putting down, because there is some brilliant stuff in here for you guys that are listening. Sean has really figured out how to put in the effort, keep his workload up, stave off boredom, help his community, make some more money, position himself to be a better real estate agent than he was going into the pandemic, have better systems, take better care of his clients, come up with creative ideas, fully furnished homes, whatever the case may be. If you guys are not picking up something from what Sean has put out here today, you get your earbuds fixed, whatever it is, because you're clearly not hearing him. But yeah, great stuff, Sean. Thank you.
You bet. And I'll say, like, this could have been a challenging year. At the moment, I'm probably up 30% from where I was at last year. And so it's all about results. And to me, this was an opportunity. People are home. How often do you go door knocking or call your list and nobody's home?
Oh, we're all home. And people are dying to talk on the phone, and they're glued to their screens. The phone and video and social media right now. Yeah, if you guys if you are salespeople, and I don't care if it's again real estate, mortgages, cars, insurance, financial planning, whatever, and you are not taking advantage of at least one or two of those three things, again the phone, the video, and the social media, yeah, you are shooting yourselves in the foot, no question.
And it's funny, but people want to buy right now. How many? I don't know how often you're on the road. I'm on the highway all day long, and I can't tell you how many Carvana trucks I've seen. Not to drop a plug for them, but it's people are got to do something with their time. And I used to see one a week, but lately I'm seeing a handful of these trucks a day. People are sitting at home buying cars. They want to spend money. They want to do something. They want to.
Yeah, I talked to a client this morning. She said she spent 3 hours online this weekend looking at bathroom vanities for the remodel that she's doing a cash out refi for.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is a ripe audience. There's no question. Yeah, very cool stuff. God, Sean, again, just this incredible wealth of knowledge from you today. I would expect that our audience is going to be ecstatic, whether they're watching us live or listening live or catching in syndication. But yeah, pretty badass stuff. All right, so Sean, you have got to give us some really important information here, okay? One, certainly for the people in our community that need work, have been furloughed, those kinds of things. How do they connect with you? People that still need to buy and sell real estate, how do they connect with you? And I'm guessing that these are both going to result in you needing a little bit more assistance with your real estate practice too. So there might be an employment opportunity out there for somebody as well.
There is. And you know what? It's funny. I called a agent that I knew maybe 2 weeks ago. I reached out and I was like, hey, I'm looking for a buyer's agent. I'm pretty busy. Most of this is luxury business. Are you comfortable doing that? Would you want to do that? I think she's maybe a 2 or 3 year agent. So I thought that'd be kind of a good fit to move up to the next level as far as purchase prices. And her response was, I just hired a buyer's agent, which is such fantastic news. And that also tells me I'm not the only one who's keeping busy right now. So yeah, a lot of questions you had in there.
Your contact info. Give us all the highlights. Phone, okay, so the email, social media handles, whatever you want to use for people to reach you.
Sure. So the company phone number is 720-730-7332. It's an automated system, so there's a few different prompts, but certainly, that's a good way to get a hold of me. Our website is liveluxre.com. I'll spell that out. It's livluxre.com. And my email address is just Sean at that website. So pretty simple. As far as fall and looking for help there, the company is called Green Machine Colorado or Green Machine Lawn Care. You'll find us on Facebook. We will be posting when we're hiring again. However, if you guys want to get on the list, shoot us a message through there. It comes in like a text message, and I'll make sure to save your information. And even if you got college kids home, it's a good gig for them. It keeps them busy. And when they get home, they're exhausted and they go to sleep and stay out of trouble. So not a bad gig.
Very cool. Well, Sean, Thank you. You guys have to tolerate me a minute with these shameless plugs. If you guys in our audience are interested in other episodes of the show, if you want to be a guest on the show, if you want a copy of my book, Just the Tips. Now my green screen is really messing with me because I chose white. Yeah. In any case, and something else I want to throw out there, since Corinne was nice enough to give us some love this morning. Corinne is actually one of the speakers at the Mile High Mastermind. We do a mastermind event for a limited number of guests every September. We are still hopeful that we're going to be able to pull that off this year, depending on whether or not those of you are still willing to stay at home and wear your masks and do that kind of thing. Please be socially cognizant so we can get back to normal sooner rather than later. But in the next few weeks, we will be opening up our attendance list to the general public, assuming we have not already sold out. So keep an eye out for that. Again, the Mile High Mastermind, September 18 and 19 at the Denver Tech Center Hyatt Regency. Am I getting this all right, Jen?
Yep,
So
that's
far,
all
so
correct.
good? Okay.
Yes.
2 days, 10 speakers, pretty much solely circumnavigating around lead generation, improving your business. Corinne, if you guys don't know Chaos, Corinne, check her out because she does some amazing work on how to thrive in chaos for your business. She will actually be a repeat speaker. I think this will be the third or fourth time we've gotten Corinne involved in an event because the content is so amazing. Other than that, Sean, again, thank you so much. This has probably been some of the most productive 30 minutes we've spent in 3 years of doing this podcast. Yeah, so awesome. We really appreciate all your feedback. In fact, I'm going to see if we can't get Jen to lure you into a third episode sometime next year.
Yeah, always happy to do it. And I'll tell you what, I always find the more that I talk about it and what I do, the more I come up with new ideas. You know, I sit here talking, I'm like, ooh, wait a minute. So it's beneficial for everybody. I love to share this stuff. So yeah, Jen, reach out. I'd love to do this again.
Will do.
All right, and everybody else, don't forget to text TIPS to 63566 for all the highlights about just the tips. And we will see you guys next week.